if we all agree with it, like most very few people are going to say, no, we don't care. But at the end of the day, you get to the gym and there's an expectation for novelty, which is like a form of entertainment. When I say entertainment, I'm not just talking about professional shows and ticket sales. I'm talking about novelty as well. Like it has to be cool, right? So when I get to the gym and I show an armbar from closed guard or something that people have already seen or they think they know, they roll their eyes like, yeah, man, show me the boogie choke and the cool stuff and the lapel guard, right? And I'm like, okay, but you can't get through any of these things. Like, what's the point, I lean towards things that would work in a real fight, like a rear naked choke, like a single, a double. I think the way a wrestler would think. For a wrestler or a boxer, you know, drilling the same thing for, we're just working, getting really good at your jab or your single leg is not a burden. It's just what you do. That's what wrestlers do. They work on their single their whole life. It's common sense. But when it comes to jiu-jitsu, we're not like that. We're just like, nah, give me novelty. I already got that closed guard stuff. Give me something new, something fancy, something I could post on my Instagram and look cool. And no one's going to admit it because it's embarrassing to admit it, but that's really what's happening. People are more concerned about doing cool stuff than they are about being efficient. So in a sense, I think that there's been I think that the average level in some ways has gone down, believe it or not, because the number of competitors has increased tremendously. But I think the average blue belt, the average purple belt is not as efficient as the average blue or purple belt was 20, 30 years ago. And it sounds like crazy, but like I believe that because there was a level of accountability too that came with your belt. Like a lot of these things, and it's not just a technique that's gone away from reality. It's just even like the culture. Like, today it's common. If people lose, they blame the referee. Oh, he's Brazilian. That's why I lost. Blame your coach. I've been blamed. People losing. Man, it's happened so many times. My students will lose, and they blame me for losing. It's like, dude, that was unthinkable 30 years ago. Unthinkable. So the level of accountability has changed. Like the hierarchy inside the gym has changed. Whereas before the coach was the authority, now we started with this thing with the student is the customer, and the customer is always right if you're running a business. So who's really in charge? So the hierarchy has been disrupted because if the student says, I want more of this, if I want classes 45 minutes long, what does the business mentality dictate? That you give the client, the customer, what he wants, right? So instead of having 2 to 3 hour long training sessions like we used to when I started, we brought it down to 90 minutes, and then it's gotten brought down 1 hour. I know gyms are doing 45-minute classes, and from a business perspective, it makes perfect sense. But what about credibility? What happens to efficiency? What happens to actual learning if you're going from 3 hours to 45 minutes?